I had to sort of open up the bruise and let some of the bruised blood come out to show them. Hi. At midnight yesterday, I said I was going to start reviewing albums again to spite my friend John. Falsifier by Black Tongue is an EP made by a metal outfit that resides on Bandcamp. So, a little disclaimer before I start. I don't listen to metal pretty much at all. Just not feeling it. I don't. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. The first thing that caught my mind about this album, or this EP rather, is the genre tagging. Now on Bandcamp there's genre tags. You put down what you want people to see when they look up your album. Deathcore, downtempo, hardcore, metal, doomstep, feel mosh, goth stomp. Quality. Yeah. It's... As far as I could tell, this is just straightforward doom metal. As far as I could tell, if this album falls in any of those genres, I wasn't able to hear it. Let's just go ahead. This album is only about 6 tracks long. All of the tracks are 3 to 4 minutes long, pretty much on the dot. And for that reason, there's not really much of anything that stands out from it. There are little moments in the tracks that I could pick out that kind of stuck with me, but overall, in this rather short listen, I didn't really come away with much to remember. Some of the standout moments, I guess, I'll just name them off right now. Actually, that's a lie. The track Pale Procession is the only track that I see that really sticks out in my mind. I don't really like metal, but I'd actually go back and listen to that track again. It's very nice. In a lot of metal, the goal there is not really the notes, it's the sound you want to create. It's wanting to sound one way, and through that sound deliver a message, whatever that message may be through the lyrics. The notes themselves kind of take a sideline position, basically just to differentiate themselves from the other songs, or in some cases not even that. But in this song they really focused on the chords. They really focused on something that sounded really melodic, surprisingly, just... You know, it's hard to describe because it's hard to describe metal as it is in terms of the chord progression, but it just, you're gonna have to take my word for it. The riffs were very tasty. And then there was this squealy guitar just kind of surfing on the giant wave of power chords. It sounded very sparse, but they added quite a bit of effects to it, digital audio effects. Every time a note was hit, it fit in so well with the chords, just boom, boom, boom. Just, it sounded very good. I guess that's kind of a generic comment. It was good. I liked the part where they played guitars. The other standout parts are in the song Ire Upon the Earth. Last quarter of the song was when it really kind of picked up. Because again, they went back to the whole melodic, very surfy kind of just like, it flows really well. They really wanted to keep that flow going. There's a chorus part that the front man sings, and whoa, every time he says, "Ire upon the earth," it just really, it fits in with all the chords that are going on to the point where it's just a really nice melody. Very hard-hitting melody, very inaccessible melody to people who don't like things that are heavy, but a very nice melody nonetheless. Faux Hammer, which is the second track, has a lot of digital stutters and effects, so I guess that's where the whole doom step comes in. Brr, 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 over and over again. I thought it fit in really well with the song. The last track I think is very noteworthy because just of its really cheesy lyrics, just really primal, just hate-filled, the most blatant, blunt, hate-filled lyrics I've ever heard. The opening line to the track is, "I'm f***ing sick of your face!" I mean, the lyrics basically just outline how much this guy hates this person. And the last line of the song is just him saying, "Kill yourself, kill yourself, kill yourself," over and over again. It's pretty cartoony. It's not really a bad thing. I had a blast listening to that track just because of its lyricism. Apologies to Black Tongue if it was supposed to be like an actual death threat. Other than those moments, the album is just kind of, it's doom metal. I mean, what do you want? A lot of metal albums that I've heard are basically there to just get messages across. It's kind of like punk, you know? It doesn't really matter about the instrumentation or the way the notes sound. You know, that save progression and notes and melody for prog metal, or save, in punk's case, save melody, harmoniousness, all that noteworthy stuff. Leave that to post-punk. That's their job is to just be there, sound rough, and get a message across. And I think that's kind of this album. You know, one song kind of bleeds into the next. It's all usually the same time signature. It's even in some cases the same like chord progression, same rhythm, same style. It's just there's not much to differentiate one track to the next. And again, I'm a big metal plebe, so I don't know whether or not that's on purpose, on accident, whether or not it's something that the genre commonly does. Because of that, I couldn't really get into it. I mean, it didn't make me turn away. There was nothing on the album by any means that was cringeworthy or just straight up bad. It was just kind of there. It came and went. We had a few words. We didn't really have much in common, so we just kind of were polite to each other and we left. That was basically my album experience. In terms of the quality of the production, this is one of the cleanest metal albums I've ever heard. Everything was very. I wouldn't say that it's overproduced at all by any means. I wouldn't say that, but it's obvious that they went in looking for something really clean cut. The drums were especially just sharp. Every time you could hear a kick, the kick resonated. Every time you heard a snare, the snare resonated. Every time you heard a cymbal, resonated. The wall of fuzz power chords that are traditional, they were perfectly legible. The amount of fuzz was not in any way challenging to the genre, doom metal, or just metal in general. The bass was kind of drowned out, but I'm pretty sure that's kind of standard, but when you could hear it, it was obvious that the guy was just going to town, just slap bass, just bang, 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 bang. There's also a lot of digital effects, as I mentioned earlier. There's also quite a creative use of reverb. They kind of added reverb to a couple guitars on the spots, but whenever they added a reverb, it wasn't just like, not like ambient where you just smear it and reverb and call it a day. No, they used it very creatively. Whenever there was a spot with reverb, it felt like if there wasn't any during that spot, you felt like it would have been empty somehow. So like they used it as kind of like to patch up some of the maybe mistakes or maybe just some of the empty spots. But it actually works very well. And then there were the vocals. Now the vocals were the only thing about the album I had a problem with. I realized that metal is all about the growls, especially doom metal. Doom metal is all about the growls and about the sounding demonic, about sounding evil, sounding just crushing and just dreadful, basically. I feel like the growl is best used in moderation, especially when there's like more melodic parts going on. It just seemed like the vocals were just kind of just slapped on top. And although the guy has a really good vocal range, you know, up as high as Pig in a Garbage Disposal, and then as low as low-frequency deep-sea sound waves. He does have an impressive vocal range, and he does give a very good performance, but it just doesn't seem like it fit. It doesn't seem like that vocal style, constantly growling, even if it was in different registers of the voice. It just didn't seem like it fit. Honestly, as much as this probably sounds like a blasphemy, I would have liked it to sound more primal and less demonic, like more punk singing, less metal screaming. But there are parts on this album where, when it was melody driven, the growls just didn't cut it. It just didn't. It didn't ruin it by any means of the word, but it didn't add by any means of the word. In that way, the vocals are kind of my only gripe, and maybe just a nitpick, because, again, for the third time, I don't know much about metal, so I don't know if these vocals are the standard or if they're something unique. I don't know, but that's just how I felt about it. All in all, it actually exceeded my expectations. Looking at all the genre tags it had and some of the fan comments that were left on the page, it was like, oh boy, this is gonna be 3 edgy, 5 me. But even if the lyricism on some of the songs was either unintelligible or just kind of generic, or in the cases of the 6th track, pretty funny, just the fact that it kept itself afloat with all these really creative ideas, with the creative use of melody and the creative use of these digital effects. Honestly, if you're a doom metal fan, it wouldn't hurt you to check this album out. That's pretty much all I got to say about it. Gonna leave. Are they still still here.